Good morning. In politics, disagreements are common, but sometimes they explode into public view. Today, we're diving into one such moment, a dramatic clash at the heart of President Trump's administration. This isn't just about a simple argument. It's a story of power, ambition, and a fight for influence over America's economy. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and FHFA Director Bill Pulte, two of the administration's top economic minds, nearly came to blows at a private dinner. The incident, now public, exposes deep divisions among those tasked with managing the nation's finances. We'll explore who these men are, what sparked the confrontation, and what it reveals about the power struggles shaping Washington today. Let's pull back the curtain on this extraordinary fight at the top. To understand this story, let's meet the main players. Scott Bessent, Treasury Secretary, is a sharp, direct former hedge fund manager with major influence over economic policy. Bill Pulte, director of the FHFA, oversees Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and is a rising star with strong social media presence and growing clout in the administration. Howard Lutnick, Commerce Secretary and Pulte's close ally, is a billionaire businessman and longtime Trump supporter. Together, Pulte and Lutnick form a powerful alliance, challenging Bessent's authority. These three men represent competing visions for the country's economic future. On one side, Bessent, the established financial expert. On the other, Pulte and Lutnick, the ambitious disruptors. Their rivalry is about more than policy. It's about who gets to shape the president's decisions. This is the triangle of power at the center of our story. The confrontation erupted at the Executive Branch Club in Georgetown, a private, ultra-exclusive space for Trump's inner circle. Hidden behind an unmarked door and guarded by security, this club is where the most powerful figures in the administration gather away from the public eye. It's a place where secrets are shared, alliances are forged, and the future of the movement is quietly debated. Nearly 30 top officials gathered for what was meant to be a night of camaraderie. The air was thick with anticipation as old friends and rivals alike took their seats, hoping for an evening of unity and strategic discussion. The club, co-owned by financier Omid Malik, was designed as a sanctuary for administration allies, free from outside scrutiny. No press, no leaks, just the promise of privacy and the freedom to speak candidly about the challenges ahead. The guest list read like a who's who of Trump's cabinet, all seated at a long table in a setting meant to foster unity. Cabinet secretaries, senior advisors, and influential donors mingled, their conversations echoing the stakes of the moment. But instead of harmony, the evening became a showcase for division. Tensions simmered just beneath the surface, and it wasn't long before sharp words and pointed glances replaced polite conversation. The fight's location, at the very heart of Trump's political world, made the incident even more shocking. This was supposed to be a safe haven, a fortress of loyalty, but it became the epicenter of discord. Even in a space built for trust, rivalries boiled over. Old grudges resurfaced, and the club's elegant walls could barely contain the animosity. The club's purpose was to unite, but it became the stage for a dramatic breakdown. What was meant to be a celebration of shared purpose turned into a night of bitter confrontation and exposed fault lines. This was no ordinary dinner. It was a public unraveling of the administration's top team, a moment that would echo far beyond the club's gilded doors and into the future of the movement itself. The argument was immediate and explosive. The tension in the room was palpable from the very first moment, as if everyone sensed that something extraordinary was about to unfold. Bessent stormed up to Pulte, his face flushed with anger, furious over rumors that Pulte had been quietly undermining him to the president. The whispers had been circulating for days, but tonight Bessent had reached his breaking point. In front of stunned colleagues and high-profile guests, Bessent threatened, "I'm gonna punch you in your face." The words hung in the air, shocking everyone into silence. Tension skyrocketed as Bessent demanded, "It's either me or him. Who's leaving?" The ultimatum was clear, and the stakes had never felt higher. When Pulte tried to de-escalate, attempting to calm the situation and diffuse the anger, Bessent doubled down. "No, I'm going to beat your ass." The confrontation was now teetering on the edge of violence. The situation nearly turned physical, but club co-owner Omid Malik intervened just in time, stepping between the two men and separating them before any punches could be thrown. His quick action prevented what could have been a disastrous scene. Both men stayed for the rest of the dinner, now seated at opposite ends of the long table. The distance between them was more than just physical. It was a clear sign of the deep rift that had formed. The room was left in shock. This was no ordinary policy dispute. Guests exchanged nervous glances, unsure of what would happen next. The message was clear. This rivalry was personal, and it had just exploded in front of the administration's elite. The confrontation had exposed deep divisions within the inner circle. The dinner continued, but the mood was shattered. Conversations were hushed, and the air was thick with unease. The incident sent ripples through Washington, raising questions about the administration's stability and the future of its leadership team. News of the altercation spread quickly, dominating headlines and fueling speculation. This was a public display of just how high the stakes and the tempers had become. Allies and rivals alike began to wonder what this meant for the power dynamics at play. The fight was over, but the fallout was just beginning. In the days to come, the repercussions of this explosive confrontation would be felt throughout the halls of power. This wasn't a random outburst. It was the climax of a long-simmering rivalry that's been brewing behind closed doors for months, if not years. The tension has been palpable, with each side maneuvering for advantage, and every public appearance charged with unspoken animosity. Bessent, as Treasury Secretary, believes he should lead on economic policy. He sees himself as the steady hand, the experienced technocrat who understands the complexities of the nation's finances and the global economy. For Bessent, economic stability is paramount, and he's determined to keep a firm grip on the levers of power. Pulte, with Lutnick's backing, has been gaining influence and pushing his own agenda, especially on housing and the future of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. He's charismatic, ambitious, and unafraid to challenge the status quo, rallying support from both inside and outside the administration. The core dispute? Whether these mortgage giants should be privatized, unleashing market forces, or remain under government control to ensure stability and protect taxpayers. It's a debate with huge implications for homeowners, investors, and the broader economy. Pulte wants bold change. Bessent urges caution. Their visions for the future are fundamentally at odds, and neither is willing to back down. Another flashpoint, Pulte's aggressive push to oust Fed Chair Jerome Powell, while Bessent warns of market chaos if such a move is made. The stakes couldn't be higher, with the stability of the financial system hanging in the balance. Their approaches couldn't be more different. Pulte is disruptive. Bessent is traditional. One thrives on shaking things up, the other on maintaining order. At stake is the president's ear, and the power to shape America's economic future. Whoever wins this battle will have enormous influence over the direction of the country's most important policies. As Pulte's influence grows, Bessent feels threatened. The corridors of power are filled with whispers, alliances, and shifting loyalties. This is a classic Washington turf war, ambition, policy, and personal rivalry colliding at the highest level. The outcome will shape not just careers, but the nation's future. The fight is about more than personalities. It's about the direction of the country. Every decision made here will ripple out to millions of Americans. The administration's economic team is divided, and the consequences could be enormous. The stakes are nothing less than the stability and prosperity of the nation. This is the real battle behind the headlines, a struggle for power, policy, and the future of America's economy. So how did President Trump react? Just days after the near brawl, he publicly praised both Bessent and Lutnick, insisting, "They get along great." Behind the scenes, sources say the rivalry is fierce and unresolved. Trump's public denial is classic. He prefers to project unity even when conflict is raging. Days later, Bessent appeared with Trump at the U.S. Open, but not seated right beside him. A subtle signal perhaps of shifting favor. Trump thrives on competition among his team, believing it sharpens performance. By downplaying the fight and keeping both men in place, he's sending a message. Manage your conflicts, but keep delivering results. He's not picking sides, at least not in public. The president's style is to let rivalries play out as long as they serve his interests. The message to his team, fight hard, but don't embarrass the boss. This isn't Bessent's first public showdown. Earlier in 2025, he clashed loudly with Elon Musk, then a White House advisor, over the next IRS commissioner. Bessent backed Michael Faulkender. Musk pushed for Gary Shapley. The argument was heated and public. Another example of power struggles erupting in Trump's circle. Bessent won that round, with Faulkender getting the job. His victory over Musk cemented his reputation as a fierce, effective infighter. This history explains Bessent's confidence in confronting Pulte. He's used to winning these battles. The Trump administration is filled with strong personalities, and clashes are inevitable. Sometimes these fights spark new ideas. Other times, they create chaos. The MAGA Club incident is just the latest in a series of high-stakes internal battles. In this White House, toughness is as important as policy. At the core of all these conflicts is the battle for President Trump's attention. In this administration, proximity to the president equals power. Both Bessent and Pulte want to be the top economic advisor. Pulte's influence surged after he accused Fed Governor Lisa Cook of mortgage fraud. Trump fired her soon after. That move showed Pulte could bypass traditional channels and get direct results. Bessent, seeing his own influence threatened, pushed back hard. The dinner confrontation was about more than ego. It was a fight for survival at the top. In Trump's world, only the most persuasive and loyal advisors thrive. The struggle for the president's ear is relentless, shaping every major decision. This is the real drama of the administration, who gets to whisper in the president's ear before the big calls are made. The stakes couldn't be higher. This isn't just political theater, it affects every American. Bessent and Pulte control levers that impact the economy, housing, and financial stability. Their infighting creates uncertainty, shaking confidence in government. The clash highlights deep divisions over how to manage the economy. Bessent's caution versus Pulte's disruption. Who wins this battle could set the nation's economic course. The incident also reveals a leadership style where personal rivalries can overshadow teamwork. When top officials are at war, the government's ability to solve problems suffers. The energy spent on internal battles is energy not spent on serving the country. The fight at the MAGA Club is a symptom of the pressures at the top, and a reminder that these power struggles have real consequences for us all. It's a story worth watching because its outcome will shape America's future.